I need to start doing way more cardio. This is the third Stephen King adaptation we've gotten this year. We started with The Monkey, then The Life of Chuck, and now The Long Walk. It's a physically taxing and psychological thriller based on one of his dystopian novels. In the 70s, when it was written under a pseudonym, it was a parable for the Vietnam War. Now we have the first film adaptation, which is basically a parable of the dystopian hellscape we find ourselves in today in 2025. So we have a classic author with a timely story. Does The Long Walk sputter towards the finish line, or does it come in first place triumphantly? The movie is set in a not too distant future, where after a war, America is in an economic depression. The specifics of the world are vague, but we're living in a dystopia, and the only way to elevate your station in life is with a brutal tournament, the Long Walk. Basically, one boy from each state enlists for this tournament. A long walk where the winner is the last man standing. But there are some rules. Each contestant has to walk at least 3 miles per hour. If they fall below that limit, they get a warning. Get 3 warnings, and if they don't start picking up the pace within 10 seconds, they're goners. Yup, the losers of this game are literally shot in the head dead. Our story follows Ray, a compassionate kid played by Cooper Hoffman, who leaves his grieving mother to participate. He quickly makes friends with Peter, played by David Johnson, and together they form a friendship on this long and arduous journey. But as the group starts thinning and more boys start ending up dead, Ray and Peter have to decide how they're both going to make it out alive after they've formed such a strong bond. And that's it. It's a movie that's basically its entire premise. There isn't much world building, so there's a lot more character building, but only really for a few main boys. Outside of Ray and Peter, we get the usual stock types. There's the nerdy kid, there's the kid that talks a lot, there's the scrawny kid who really wants to keep up, there's the bully, there's the Adonis who thinks he's going to beat everyone, there's the strong, quiet type, and the rest are really just cannon fodder. So it helps when you have two excellent performers in the leads with Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson. Hoffman is legendary actor Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid, and he's got good leading man stature. He does a great job making you feel for Ray and rooting for him. And likewise, David Johnson, who you might remember from Alien Romulus and an underseen comedy, Rye Lane, that he's terrific in, he is a star. This guy just already with a few roles seems like he can do anything. And right when he comes on screen, you're just automatically like, I want to watch that guy. Hoffman and Johnson have the juice when a lot of the movie doesn't. It's a dystopian thriller with brutal violence, but it is a movie about walking. And director Francis Lawrence, the, I guess, king of dystopian movies, he did almost all the Hunger Games movies, he can only do so much to visually elevate how this story looks. We get a sense that Lawrence is kind of, I don't know, leaving visual ideas on the table. But I know, that's not really the point. The point is allegorical. What would you do in this situation? And for stretches and spurts, it does put you in their shoes. Could I walk that long? How exhausted would I be? Could I push myself farther than I've ever pushed myself? Would I really want it? And to its credit, it gives us brutal scenes of characters finding out in the moment that they just can't make it. We only really care about the main two, and we kind of know where this is going, so you're kind of just waiting for the herd to get thinned. And that predictability, while it doesn't make any of the violence less shocking, it kind of dulls the journey for us. I will say, the ending does surprise in a way, though I'm not sure the decision a crucial character makes a whole lot of sense at that moment. It sure sets up a dramatic reversal, but at that point, I don't know if I bought it. This is a movie that wants to pummel the audience. It wants you to feel anguished and feel the agony of the characters. But then again, everything feels a little too schematic. It feels a little Dystopia 101. And when I don't feel the emotions that the director is trying really hard to bring out of me, well, it becomes a bit of an issue. But ultimately, its message of how we face violence in a dystopia, of how we stand up for each other, of our bonds with each other, gets a little muddled by the end. And I could definitely tell that this probably wasn't how the novel ended. Surprise, it isn't. It seems like there's an even more ambiguous and thought-provoking and, dare I say it, agonizing movie that this material could be made out of. I don't want to create an entire movie out of whole cloth, but I could really see this being made in like the Lars von Trier European vein, where it's no score to tell you what emotions they are, where you're at a distance from these people, where it's even more brutal and spare. That's just me. I'm kind of a weirdo like that. Oh, there is one thing that this movie objectively just does not get right, and that's our main antagonist, the Major, played by geek icon Mark Hamill. Let's say he's living up a little to his name. He is hamming it up. So we have this sobering drama with these young men, and then you have this cartoon villain, and they just do not mesh. Look, Mark Hamill, he's a legend, but I don't know what the hell he's doing in this movie. Ultimately, it's little details like that that bug me and make it so I can't give this movie a full-hearted endorsement. The Long Walk is a brutal movie, no doubt, but it's kind of let down by uninspired filmmaking, a repetitive script, and though it has two excellent lead performances, one bad one really sticks out. Look, I don't blame anyone for liking this movie, even though it's not an easy watch, but for me, it wasn't a walk worth taking. I give it a forgettable 2.5 stars out of 5. If you like this review, please like and subscribe or follow me on Letterboxd at RamirezS316. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go hit the treadmill because at the rate this country's going, I'm going to need the practice.